Two simple words making up the iconic line from a film that terrified a generation, Poltergeist. Released in 1982, this suburban nightmare struck fear into the hearts of Gen X audiences with its supernatural horrors and shocking special effects. But as the years passed, Poltergeist became infamous not just for what happened on the screen, but for the eerie tragedies and mysteries surrounding its cast and production. In this video, I pay homage to my personal favorite horror flick as a kid, lightly touching on the dark lore, production secrets, and the haunting curse that continues to surround Poltergeist, and maybe its sequels. Let's start at the beginning. Poltergeist was a passion project for Steven Spielberg, who co-wrote and produced the film, while directing E.T. at the same time. But there's a lingering question. Who actually directed the movie? Well, the credit officially goes to Tobe Hooper, who of course is known for his gritty horror masterpiece, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre from the year 1974. But Spielberg's heavy involvement on set of Poltergeist created tension, with crew members claiming he overshadowed Hooper's authority. Spielberg himself admitted to directing key sequences, blurring the lines of authorship. And then there's the script. Spielberg initially approached Stephen King to co-write, but the two creative powerhouses couldn't align their schedules. The result was a terrifying mix of Spielberg's childhood fears: creepy clowns, violent trees, and an innocent TV turned portal to another, yet darker dimension. Now, for 1982, Poltergeist was a technical marvel. Obviously, it would pale in comparison with what we are able to achieve in cinema today, but for its time, it blended practical effects and emerging digital techniques to bring its horrors to life. Who could forget the moment when the paranormal activity erupts in the kitchen, or when Jo Beth Williams, who played the mother Diane, is thrown into the muddy pool of skeletons? Oh, and need I remind you, those skeletons in the pool scene were real. Like for real, for real. Apparently the cost to manufacture skulls and bones was way too high, so in an effort to save money, the filmmakers used actual human skeletons. Like for real skeletons. A decision that rightfully horrified Jo Beth Williams and has been linked to the infamous Poltergeist Curse. Now let's talk about other splinters of this so-called curse. It was driven home with tragic deaths of several of its cast members. Dominique Dunne, who played the eldest daughter Dana, was murdered by her ex-boyfriend shortly after the film's released, when she was a mere 22 years old. And of course, we all remember how Heather O'Rourke, the angelic face of the franchise, died unexpectedly at 12 years old, just before the release of Poltergeist 3. She suffered from a misdiagnosed intestinal issue that led to septic shock. And then there was Julian Beck, who portrayed the menacing preacher in Poltergeist 2, The Other Side.
You're gonna die in there!
That actor effed me up in that movie. Beck passed away from stomach cancer just before his movie was released, and Will Sampson, who also appeared in that sequel, died shortly after due to complications from a surgery. Obviously, these are just tragic coincidences, but some attribute them to the Poltergeist Curse, and fans and skeptics have been debating this for decades. Side notes, do you remember Heather O'Rourke was also in Happy Days as Fonzie's girlfriend's daughter? And Zelda Rubinstein was the organist at the wedding in 16 Candles? Remember how her purse sloshed with a hidden bottle of booze when she walked down the aisle?
Oh, hi.
But back to Poltergeist. Behind the scenes, the casting process was a bit interesting as well. You see, Drew Barrymore auditioned for the role of Carol Ann, but ultimately was passed over, and Spielberg instead gave her a starring role in E.T. And then there were oddities offset, like Jo Beth Williams claims that pictures in her own home would tilt and fall off the wall during the production of the original Poltergeist. And Zelda Rubinstein, the psychic Tangina, she reported sensing ominous presences while filming the original. But the scariest incident might belong to Oliver Robbins, our Bucktooth Robbie. The mechanical clown used in his attack scene malfunctioned during the shooting and actually started to choke him for real, like for real, for real. Until Spielberg was able to step in and intervene. Now, despite, or perhaps because of the lore, Poltergeist was a massive success. Critics praised its blend of family drama and supernatural horror, and audiences flocked to theaters, making it a box office success. It even scored 3 Academy Award nominations for its groundbreaking sound and visual effects, which isn't bad for a horror film. But the franchise wasn't without its flaws. Both sequels failed to capture the magic of the original, and the 2015 remake was shit. Still, Poltergeist remains a cultural touchstone, a movie that epitomizes Gen X childhood fears. So, is the Poltergeist Curse real? Or just an eerie series of coincidences? While many of the tragedies can be explained, the film's legacy of fear and fascination endures. And for Gen Xers, Poltergeist wasn't just a movie. It was one of many scarring events added to the long list of pop cultural trauma-inducing entertainment that we all suffered through. like these gems. It was the sleepover staple, the VHS you dared your friends to watch, and the reason so many Gen Xers developed an irrational fear of clowns. Well, along with this cat. Oh, it also added an eerie layer of mystique to the nightly national anthem TV sign-off we all grew up with, and nobody ever wanted to walk into a room that had static on a television screen after seeing that movie. And whether or not you believe in the curses, one thing is certain, this film will forever be a chilling part of our Gen X cultural history. So if you like this video, be sure to check out the others or hit that subscribe button to get notified of the next one. And let me know in the comments, do you think the Poltergeist Curse was real or just movie magic gone awry? Until next time, check under your bed for any creepy clown dolls, and stay away from any staticky screens.